वेलकम बैक टू आवर सेकेंड एपिसोड। हमने पहले एपिसोड में बात की थी जेंडर रोल की, और वो कैसे मतलब व्हाट इज़ अ जेंडर रोल एंड उसकी हिस्ट्री के बारे में हमने जाना था। एंड वी टच्ड अ टॉपिक दैट हाउ जेंडर रोल plays an important role in parenting. So, Sarvapriya Kumaraswamy Iyer, can you let us know कि पेरेंटिंग में मतलब लाइक व्हेन यू आर अ पेरेंट, तो तुमको और या पेरेंट्स को अपने बच्चों में ऐसा क्या वैल्यूज़ ऐड करना चाहिए सो दैट दे कैन बी अ बेटर वर्जन ऑफ देमसेल्व्स, लाइक व्हाट वैल्यूज शुड बी एडेड एज दे ग्रो.
I think from my experiences, what I can say is that parents uh, must discipline their children in whichever way they deem right. Uh, However, they should also uh, create a sense of freedom for them so that they can uh, choose, they can make their own decisions from childhood. Something I truly believe in the education of is finance. Children must be taught how finance is used because that is the practical application, right? Ultimately, we all need money to operate and live a certain standard of life. And in order to do that, it is important that children know how to handle their wealth and they would grow up to be I think, if nothing else, great accountants, you know. Um, yeah, so those are some of the qualities I believe would be helpful uh, in possessing. And one thing I do regret seeing in many parents is that they fear the society. They fear what people would think of them. You know, the society exists so that you can support each other, not attack each other. And if somebody is attacking you, then that person does not have his or her good interest, goodwill in you. So might as well avoid those people. So yes, priority. If in case when it comes to parenting, one thing the parents must possess is the strength to accept what the society is saying, at the same time allow the child to do whichever activity as he or she pleases, because it might help in exposing the child to something good, something better. uh, and for that they must ignore what people say or think about.
Like to imbibe strength and confidence in what they believe.
Yes, for example, I think we were discussing about allowing the children to doing pursuing hobbies, and many parents just push their children to focus on studies because ultimately they are answerable to their kids, their relatives. पूछेंगे कि भाई मतलब कितने नंबर आए, they would compare their children to theirs, you know. And then parents are also under pressure because they want their child to perform well and be known as an intelligent kid or whatever. But it's unrealistic. Not every child would be intelligent in the way that you want it to be, right? You want it to be only academically brilliant, but what about other aspects of life, other activities, other things that exist?
Basically, you should know about your child's interest and his strength and weakness so that you can, you
Yes,
know,
it is the responsibility of a parent. It is definitely the responsibility of a parent to know where their child stands. Okay, they don't have to be too strict or too vigilant or, you know, stalking their kids. No, that is not required. But just knowing the capacity of your child is important.
So basically, we have to evaluate our child's everything, like strength, weakness, hobbies, whatever he or she is interested in, and then come to a point and figure out a way to allow the child to do whatever he or she likes in a good way, but at the same time he doesn't lose interest in the
See, parenting
knowledge.
is no joke. Okay, there was a time when couples had multiple children. I don't know, 23 even. Um so when they had to look after one child, right? And if that one child grew up a little properly, he or she would then guide the siblings as they are born or as they are grown. So what happens is, generally in a large family with lots of children, the oldest one becomes like a parent to the rest of the siblings, right? So they follow that hierarchy, and then and in that, parenting is not it's a little more diversified. Like they can delegate certain responsibilities to their older children, right? As parents. But in today's society, children are not more than two, three, if you
Nuclear
push it.
family.
Yes. So in when there are two children, it's not enough, right? That it's not always the case that the older one is always parenting the younger one. That's a different thing. And some parents have only one child, so they have no one else to care for, no one else who will care for the child besides the parents. So that makes it a little more difficult and a little more
Challenging.
challenging for the folks, for the parents.
Okay, don't mind me asking this question. So, as far as I know, you are not a parent. So, how, like, you know what I'm trying to get at? So, how can you just make a decision by not being a parent? Like, what
Okay,
to,
how you're asking me like that? How do I know all
yeah,
of this must be followed? All of this should be
yeah,
done.
and it would become a fruitful, like, it would have a fruitful outcome.
It's a fair question,
Mm.
but what I feel is that I have been on the other side of parenting. Right? I was a child myself, and I grew up because of my parents in a certain way, and I've been gifted. I'm gifted in many ways. My parents believed in a sort of friendship based relationship, right? And so I did have the freedom to communicate with them, and they helped me think. They helped me understand that analyzing things is quite important, and I learned how to analyze eventually. And this is something I have analyzed as while I was growing up. Uh, so while I was growing up, I was wondering as to how my life is going and why it is going in a certain way, and how something has impacted my life. And one aspect of it is parenting. There are many other aspects which could have happened or not happened, but a major factor in my life would have been how my parents treated me and how they ensured that I turned into a certain person. Me I would also say that at this point, a lot of parents bring the children up with the idea of giving them a concrete career, a concrete lifestyle. For example, अगर बेटा पैदा होता है तो देर लाइक इंजीनियर बनेगा और डॉक्टर बनेगा. बेटी का भी यही हाल है, उसको भी डॉक्टर या फिर इंजीनियर का टाइटल दे देते हैं बचपन से, ये बनेगा ये बनेगा. बट ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि बच्चे को भी इसमें इंटरेस्ट हो, राइट. नाउ इफ़ यू आर एबल टू influence the child or create that inspiration, nothing like it. But if the child is not interested, if it is probably better skilled at something else, then you must observe it, give it an opportunity.
Like एक room provide करो जिससे कि they can prove themselves.
Yeah, if they can prove themselves, then you can gauge it and then okay, give it a
thumbs up.
Restricting a child's future is not a good idea.
True.